Welcome back to Stand With Us on JLTV. This has been very exciting with you, Edwin Black, the author of Financing the Flames, a New York Times best-selling author. So thank you very much for being with us and educating all of us about these issues of funding and financing terrorism and crazy behavior in the West Bank. I mean, there's got to be better ways to negotiate peace and a peaceful agreement than conjuring up riots. And let's talk about the funding of the riots. Is there funding for these riots?
Well, that's an excellent question. Let's take an example. One of the women that you see in this video that you showed during the last segment, she's getting $85 if the riot turns violent. Now, how does this work? If there's a violent outcome, if the crowd control measures engage in people with tear gas injuries, things of that nature. And of course, it isn't just that they protest. The villagers are trained to throw rocks and Molotov cocktails and incendiaries and other objects to provoke a response. This is all planned. She gets $85 to record the details. If no one gets injured, then she doesn't get any money. Someone gets injured, she gets money. Who's giving her the money? The WCLAC, the Women's Center for Legal Aid and Counseling, is paying her this amount of money. They're being funded by the George Soros Open Society Foundation, and she is one of the planners of the riot, and she's being paid to monitor the riot by a tax-supported charitable organization. Let's look at some of these people from B'Tselem. They're also in on the planning. They're in the same households, and yet they are the volunteers for B'Tselem. This is an industry. This is a business. When this woman gets $85 to record this information, she's earning 4 times the amount of money the average Palestinian could work if they could find a job, and there's a 20% unemployment rate in the Palestinian Authority.
So we are incentivizing violence.
That is the only word that you can use. We are incentivizing violence by allowing these charitable organizations to purvey billions of dollars. In fact, the New Israel Fund alone has sent in the recent years $250 million. We are incentivizing terrorism because we also...
New Israel Fund, $250 million? No.
$250 million.
$250 million?
In about 4 years.
How does the New Israel Fund have that kind of money?
Well, for one thing, they have an office in Switzerland. And I would like to know what an American charity doing charitable works in Israel has a need for an office in Switzerland. There are offices in Canada.
$250 million. I'm just trying to process.
In the last 4 years, it's been 200.
New Israel Fund.
Yeah, New Israel Fund. They fund some 800 charitable organizations, NGOs in Israel. Many of them are doing very good deeds, but a number of them are engaged in destabilizing Israel, the IDF, according to the men of the IDF and leaders in the Knesset.
$250 million. You're sure about the number?
Yes, of course it's $250 million. We're talking big money. You can't possibly support 800 NGOs without that kind of money. They're giving as much as $90,000 a year to certain organizations. Some of these organizations are getting 6 figures a year. And they originally claimed that they were getting this money from something called the Ford. These organizations, these recipients, claimed they were getting the money from the Ford Israel Fund. The Ford Israel Fund, which I investigated, doesn't exist. It's a fake fund. They have no address. They have no bank. They have no phone number. It's actually the New Israel Fund. And the Ford Foundation, which actually saw the light and stopped funding the New Israel Fund, demanded that the New Israel Fund take its name and Ford Association off this fake fund. It's now known as the Social Justice Fund.
Well, okay, so, as we're listening to you, I know that everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, this is horrific, and you're upset. I know you're upset, because I'm upset. So once again, I want to refer everybody to the book, and I want you to become an expert. The best way that you can help is if you learn so that you can teach. So please, so Financing the Flames, a very important book for us at this point in time. I want you to pick it up. I want you to read it. I also want to remind you that we have material on a variety of topics. And when I say I want you to learn more so that you can teach more, go to the Stand With Us website, click on resources, and we invite you to take a look at all the different kinds of topics we cover in the different languages we offer them. Learn more so that you can teach more. Back to you. So, incentivizing terrorism, both on a macro level in the Palestinian Authority and their systems, and on the street.
That's right.
You've
It's
got
very
it
specific.
Top down and bottom up.
And ironically, there's another way. We can actually pay for peace, not violence, in Israel. Secretary Kerry, for all the damage he's doing in these misguided negotiations that you and I both know have been conducted over recent months, has proffered a $4 billion peace plan for economic joint ventures. The two richest men in the Palestinian Authority in Israel, the two greatest billionaires, have said that they would create a program called Breaking the Impasse to once again put money into peaceful coexistence. We can do it, but pay for peace, not violence.
I agree. I mean, when you say it's misguided, unfortunately, it doesn't feel like we have a partner on the other side that's genuine. And
well,
so,
we're out of time, but if we did have more time, we would know that the Palestinian Authority has learned that its greatest export is violence, confrontation, and terror, and until we turn off that spigot, they will not find peace profitable. Put the profit back in peace.
The profit back in peace. And unfortunately, we are funding that. So you and I and our tax money, it's just really crazy. Edwin, thank you very much for being with us today, and you'll come back again, I'm sure, next time you come to Los Angeles. Thank you guys for being with us today, and we'll see you next time on Stand With Us.